Another one, Paul here. Today I'm going to talk about the US30, and there's basically, if you're using the same broker that I use, and we'll actually go inside the account. We'll be able to look, but I want to go over two ways that you can trade the US30, and we're gonna look some numbers real quick. This is for those that want to trade the US30. But you may not have enough to trade it, because we'll look on a Forex account how much you would have to have in order to trade the US30 on a regular account. And then we're also going to be looking at something called the US30.mini, and that's mainly for those that can't really afford to trade the US30 on a regular account. So what I'm going to do is give you guys a strategy on how to scale it up by using the US30.mini, and we'll kind of look at some formulas and see how much you could actually earn on trading both the mini and the regular US30. Okay, so when you load up now, I've made videos on this, how you have to have Trade Locker on your phone, and you have to have a broker, and I'll put my broker below if you guys want to use that. But basically, if you go to your markets here on Trade Locker, punch in US30, and you're going to see, you'll see US30, which is the regular one, and then you'll see US30.mini. Mini is the toned down version of the US30. So real quickly, I want to go over numbers here and show you how much you would have to have in a US30.mini to be able to trade. And for the mini here, you would need at least 80 cents. So for the bare minimum, you know the US30, it moves fast. So for 0.01, you need at least 80 cents. So you could actually up this for as much as you want, but the bare minimum here for the mini at 0.01 is 80 cents. So real quickly here, what I want to kind of look at is some trades. Now, of course, when you trade the regular US30, and this is important to note, that when you trade the regular US30, you have to have about $200 in there to trade the US30. So whether you have 200, what I want to advise people to do, and kind of, if you want to practice a little bit with the US30, is to kind of scale up and start with the mini, and then just scale up. But we're going to look at some numbers here real quick at the US30. So let's just give a pattern. I'm not really going to go over trading patterns right here, but let's just say that you got in, you see where the L and L crosses right here. So if you got in right here and you stopped it right here, this is a 334,000 pip move. So I'm going to show you how much you make on the mini. On the mini, so that was about 334,000 ticks. So doing it on the mini, that will make you about $33. Okay, so 334,000 ticks. Let's see how much that will make you on the regular US30. Keep in mind that when you do on US30, it moves much faster. So there's a lot of volatility when it comes to this. 334,000 ticks. So doing it on the regular US30 would make you 3,340. So that same move that we see in the charts, this move right here, from here all the way up to here, this is a $3,000 move. You basically turn a penny into $3,000 on the regular US30. With the mini, it makes you 334,000. With the With the mini, it makes you $33. So what I would suggest people do, and this is my advice, because the US30 is very volatile, is I would do it with the mini first. I would scale it up. First, I would do it at 0.01, then I'd go to 0.02, and then you'd be at $66 for that move. And then to make $100 out of it, you would have to go to a 0.03 and get the same 334,000 ticks. So then you could just slowly scale it up on the mini until you get to a good number, and then you can move on to the regular US30. That's just my opinion, because if you want to trade the US30, it is very volatile. So what I would personally do is I would start with the mini, and I would go to 0.01, which is, it's not a lot. You don't have to put a lot into it. You only have to have 80 cents in there to trade it. But then I would slowly scale up with the mini, and I would work until I get to, I'd stay in the mini until I get to $1, basically. I'd wait till I get to $1, and I'd grow my account that way. I'd slowly scale it up, and you see, as you slowly scale it up, your profits increase. So if you get the same 334,000 ticks, and once you get to $1, once you get to $1, you're basically making the same amount that you're making. When you get to $1 on the mini, that's the same thing. That is the same thing as doing a 0.01. Let's see, 334. Doing $1 on the mini is the same thing of doing 0.01 on the regular US30. So that's what I would do for those that want to do the US30. I would start with the mini, and I would scale my way up. And you don't have to put a lot into it. And then you could just slowly scale it up. You could read the charts. But one thing I do want to go over real quickly is how much you can make. And I'm going to show you here. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this with Satoshi, basically, because you can, in order to make a, with the broker that I use, you can have a USD-based account and a Satoshi-based account. I want to show you how much you can make having a Satoshi-based account. Now, I'm only going to show, now you can do the mini. You can do the mini if you want. Let's just look at that same number as 334000. Now that's, are we on, I think we're on, are we on the mini? No, we're not on the mini. Let's do the mini. US30. Now, the requirement for, let's see, we've got to get to mini. Right here. Okay, so this is the mini. But instead of the gains being in USD, the gains are in Satoshi. So we're real quickly going to look at the same number. We're going to do it at 0.01 with the tick number we had. So with doing it on the mini, the same thing, 334,000 ticks, you would make a 0.00039 Bitcoin. And like I said with the USD, you could just slowly scale this up, personally, until you get to $1. Get to $1. And once you get to $1, then probably you can get away with doing it with the regular US30. But when you get to $1, that's basically like, this is the same value of doing 0.01 with the regular USD. But that same number right here in this trade, this move right here, about 334,000 ticks. 334,000 ticks. This will return you 0.039 at 100x. So at $1 here, this dollar here with the mini is the same thing as doing the US30. It's doing the US30 at a 0.01. So yeah, it's about the same thing. So what I would advise people do, and for those that want to trade, the US30, since it is volatile, I would start with the mini because you don't have to put a lot into it. And you can kind of practice and get the hang with it. And if you get good at it, you can just slowly scale up. And I would do the mini until you get to $1. That's personal preference, because if you get to that $1, by the time you get to that $1, you're ready to do the regular USD. But that's basically looking at the USD. If you know what you're doing, you can make a lot. Now, personally, for the USD, for the US30, which is basically it's the US30. But I basically would use my L and L trend system strategy, and every time it crosses, because it usually gets some pretty good results. Picked it up here. Picked it up here. And picked it up here. So it's pretty profitable. But anyway, that's just looking at the USD and how to trade it, and how to trade it with the mini, and how to scale it up. You could scale it up with both you could scale it up with a USD base account and a Satoshi base account. Me personally, I would start with the mini, and then I'd work my way up until it got to $1. And once it got to $1, I would start trading the US30 like normal. And I'd scale that one up. So anyway, that's just numbers and looking at the US30 and how to scale